Ari, son of Nimrod here, and this comic is Exiles, issue 31, and it is coming here straight from the days of poster cover madness. The noughties were awash with comics with covers that were just static images of characters. The Ultimated line is notorious for it, but I think the biggest crime might be Exiles, because Exiles as a concept is about exploring the multiverse and all these crazy off-kilter alternative realities. And for most of its run, you have covers not showing any of that, and instead portfolio pieces of the title characters. Don't get us wrong, as far as covers of Mimic Gan, this is his best cover, and it is great that he doesn't have his disgusting little beard on it. But when you have a two-part story set in a reality filled with Dracula superheroes, you have to quote all my favourite black people, you have to do better. So, Exiles, it was a series that a lot of people love, but I think most of those people share the same criticism, and that is, despite all these fun realities and little character arcs, the series didn't have much of a direction. There was no overarching bad guy. There was no ongoing actual goals. We were just watching a group of random excellent men go to weird worlds and have an adventure. Maybe you didn't need more than that at first, but 30 issues in, we are still in a rinse and repeat formula. Today's alternative reality is one with Dracula Avengers. The story is called Avengers Forever, which I didn't quite get. Is it just a pun that they are immortal? I mean, you didn't want to be reminding me of Avengers Forever in general. But I do remember reading somewhere that maybe these designs here are meant to be poking fun at some of the bad designs from Kurt Busey's run. Like Aunt Gordon's Goliath costume. It is as much as an imitation of the design that he had in Kurt Busey's first few issues of Avengers, which was quickly changed because people kept writing in saying that they didn't like it. This reality as Dracula Avengers, led by Dracula Captain America. The other interesting thing about this Avengers team is that Miss Magnet is a member and she is Captain America's lover. Things that I would not mind happening in the mainstream universe. So after this introductory scene, here are our excellent men. Exiles were made up of a bunch of excellent men from different realities. Buy the DVD and stare all you want. Stare at what? Jennifer Garner's gigantic, disgusting jawline? We get the history of this alternative universe, and it spins out of a Roy Sternman Captain America story, Captain America 253. That one ended with this cliffhanger bombshell, and then the next issue he was fine. But here, he isn't. He was bitten by the Dracula, and he became a Dracula, and now he Dracules. He gangs around sucking off people's blood, and he has become King of the Draculas. With the Exiles, one of the things worth mentioning is that this is during a period where the title's main character, Blinky, was not on the team. I quite like this lineup for the team. Exiles usually had a pretty decent team roster until Christopher Clairvoyant made it about himself and had these guys die shit deaths or become alcoholics or have reverse abortions. On the team itself, we have some antagonism, and that is Magic Girl, Anya Taylor-Joy. She is very cool. She is scheming. She is a bit slutty. The Exiles, their overall mission is to supposedly fix these realities. And Magic Girl is very, let's get shit done and move on to the next reality. And these came out at a time where the mainstream version of Magic Girl, she had been dead for over a decade. And a lot of fans wanted her to return, and she eventually did. But I thought having a version of her in Exiles was a clever compromise. I actually think it is my favourite depiction of her character. What we have in this series, it is my favourite version of Magic Girl. Important to this story is Kenneth. And I probably should have reviewed those two Captain America issues to better set this up. Kenneth is the son of Firespit and the rightful heir to the mantle of Jack's staff. However, he isn't physically right for the part. He is pretty weak and frail. Later on, we find out that he has a blood disease. So instead, his friend Joey becomes Jack's staff in Captain America 254. In this reality, both Firespit and Jack's staff appear to have been dealt with by Dracula Captain America, and even Kenneth has been badly disfigured. Dracula Captain America and the Dracula Avengers, they are going to perform a Dracula ritual to transform everybody into Draculas. And it is up to the Exiles to stop them. I've not really gone over who is on this team. Mimic is the main one here. Magic Girl, Anya Taylor-Joy. She's important in part 2. Sun Girl is important as well. I've explained Mimic and gone over his backstory in other videos. I've already kind of explained Magic Girl in this one. And then Sun Girl is off self-explanatory. Some of the more interesting aspects of her aren't really relevant in this story. She is gay, she is Asian, she is going to be supremely stuck in Gail Simon's refrigerator in a few issues' time. Now though, we get to see the Excellent Men fight Dracula Avengers. And I tell you what, it is definitely more fun than any 2012 crossovers of Excellent Men fighting Avengers. One of the things what happens is Sun Girl gets bit by Dracula Orcai, and I thought when I first read this that this would be a big development, and it meant Sun Girl would be a Dracula, or she would slowly become a Dracula over the course of the series. But she is cured at the end of the story, and then she dies off panel when a building falls on her in a couple of issues' time anyway. Our big matchup here is Mimic versus Dracula Captain America, and one of the ongoing character arcs with Exiles. And I am not quite sure what point we are at during this story. Over the course of the series, Mimic becomes a pacifist and he refuses to kill anyone. In this one, he decapitates Dracula Captain America, but he's already dead anyway. And he still feels rotten about it. But then Dracula Captain America gets up and reattaches his head to his body. To be continued. I think this Dracula story is a fun little tale. We have the problems I mentioned at the start, that the series isn't really going anywhere. It is constantly in this mode of distracting people with fun sideways worlds, but they rarely add up to anything. I think this is a good series for reading in this manner, picking out a story and reading it by itself. This one also is born from an ad Captain America story, so that is a bonus. I will give it 7 thumbs up and point out that I didn't even mention the absurd amount of advertisements.